Conservatives love to pretend that you're trying to steal their hard-earned money through welfare or healthcare or a decent living wage. But the reality is that Republican lawmakers are making most of that hard-earned money by stealing it from you. These are 5 ways Republicans are screwing you out of your money. Number 1, corporate tax cuts. The latest tax bill cut corporate taxes from 35% to 21%, which Republicans pretended would also benefit the average middle-class worker. Well, on December 22nd, 2017, Trump tweeted, "Big companies and corporations showering their workers with bonuses. This is a phenomenon that nobody even thought of, and now it is the rage. Merry Christmas." But of course, that's a straight-up lie. Economists and market experts agree that nearly all of the money these companies will save flows back to shareholders, investors, and top executives. As a response to the bill, numerous giant companies, from Home Depot to Bank of America, immediately put billions into share buybacks, which don't help the average employee at all. What's more, the money that the government used to get from these corporations creates a deficit in revenue, a deficit that is scheduled to be repaid by middle-class earners. See, the tax bill made corporate tax cuts permanent, but actually raises taxes on the middle class starting in 2025. Number 2, healthcare. This new tax bill also takes your money by making your healthcare way more expensive. The new bill basically removes the requirement that you have to have healthcare or pay a fine. This means that only people who are older or who regularly need care are going to be paying into that healthcare pool, meaning there's less money to go around. So everyone's healthcare costs will go up. Even with a doubled child tax credit, low and middle income families will end up paying more. The Congressional Budget Office found that by next year, Americans making less than $30,000 a year will be worse off under the new bill. And that threshold just gets bigger over time. By 2021, it comes for those making $40,000, and then for those earning less than $75,000 by 2027. The biggest single reason for the rise? Because these people will get less government aid for healthcare. And on top of that, 13 million Americans are projected to lose health insurance in the next decade. Number 3, wage stagnation. Since the early 1970s, hourly inflation-adjusted wages have risen by next to nothing, 0.2%. And the majority of that increase has gone to workers at the top of the food chain, executives, CEOs, and so on. In fact, for those making minimum wage or close to it, when adjusting for inflation, your real wage has actually gone down since the 1970s. In 2014, the Bipartisan Congressional Budget Office did a study that centered around raising the federal minimum wage to $10.10. Basically, they found that higher pay would increase families' income and raise nearly 1 million people out of poverty. 3 out of 4 Americans support a pay increase. And yet, Republicans in Congress have repeatedly argued against an increase. And Trump has made several conflicting statements on the issue. In July, Missouri Republicans lowered the minimum wage from $10 to $7.70. In March 2017, Iowa Republicans voted almost unanimously to block local minimum wage hikes. Money that rightly belongs to minimum wage workers is being siphoned away in favor of corporate owners. All thanks to Republicans in Congress. Number 4, unions. As workers get continually screwed by the government and their employers, the obvious solution is unionization. And yet, strong anti-union propaganda from Republicans has led to unions representing only 6.5% of private sector workers, while 81% of Democrats approve of unions, only 42% of Republicans do. Trump helped Republican lawmakers resurrect a bill that would, quote, reduce the sway of unions at workplaces, unquote. The sponsor of that bill, Phil Rowe, felt that having strong organized labor meant, quote, the rights of American workers are under attack, unquote. Richard Trumka, a major union leader who initially allied with Trump, has straight up said that the White House is actively hurting working people. In short, unions help you keep more of your money and provide better working conditions and benefits. Of course, Republicans don't want that. Number 5, the pay gap. Last, but still barely past the tip of the iceberg, is the ever-present wage gap between men and women that Republicans are desperate to pretend doesn't exist. On average, women earn 80% of what men earn, and the disparity in pay is found across similar jobs, education levels, and even age. Furthermore, a 2016 survey by the Pew Research Center added race into that equation and found that black men only earn 73% as much as white men, while Hispanic men earn 69%. But it's even more grim for women of color, with black women earning 65% as much and Hispanic women earning only 58%. Republicans have responded to these statistical facts about American employment by claiming that it's actually motherhood that is the reason for the gap. Hint, it isn't. Or worse, in 2015, Trump tried to say that women were simply just not as skilled as as men, and we're not as competitive. And if you think that's bad, it's only gotten worse. In 2017, Trump revoked Obama's 2014 Fair Pay and Safe Workplaces order. Then in August, Trump halted data collection for an Obama-era program that would have mandated employers to disclose pay categories based on gender, race, and ethnicity to the government. Republicans are dead set on preventing women and people of color from earning as much as white men, which isn't all that surprising when you learn there are more Republican senators named John than there are female Republican senators. Let that sink in. And while you think about how crazy that is, you should also think about what you can do to stop Republicans from endlessly stealing your money and pretending it's really theirs. First and foremost, you can vote them out this November. Make sure you're registered to vote in your area by going to vote.gov, and if you see a candidate who you think can make a real difference, donate and tell your friends. Thanks for watching this episode of You're Getting. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more episodes just like this every week.